This is Robyn Nelson for Wrestle Popcast.
Along with David Stockwell with DemoBlastStudios.com, and we are joined by a gentleman that is no stranger to professional wrestling fans, especially during the Attitude Era. Are you down with the Brown?
You better recognize D'Lo Brown. What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Pretty good. So what have you been up to lately?
For the most part, I love doing these autograph sessions, but my passion now is training. So I've got my school out in Vegas, the Snake Pit, myself, Kizarny, Jake the Snake Roberts, and we partnered up with FSW out there and just having some good fun.
So what was it like to be tagging with Mark Henry back in the day?
Man, it was fun because Mark and I were like polar opposites because Mark was the big power and the brute, and I was kind of like the speed and flyer. So it worked out well as a team. We had fun out there because, hell, friends have fun, Do
you have any memorable moments in the WWE?
Man, there are too many to name. From my debut at Shotgun Saturday Night to being at WrestleMania Chicago to being in the ring with Undertaker, Steve Austin, The Rock. There's too many to name. Just my entire experience at WWE was the highlight of my life.
So what was it like to be part of the Nation of Domination?
Now, that is a whole nother thing, because being part of the Nation was like, what people don't realize is the 4 or 5 of us, however version you like, we were all friends outside. So we hung together, we rode together, we traveled together, we went to the same hotels together. So all you saw was friends having fun on TV. So it wasn't like we were doing work, we were just hanging out, having fun. And oh, by the way, we're kicking somebody's ass. So that made it even better.
Any road stories?
None that I can repeat on this podcast.
Darn.
As Ron would say, damn.
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 Oh my gosh. D'Lo, obviously now you reside in Las Vegas, Nevada. Once upon a time, back in 2003, I lived there myself for a good 3 years. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Decided I needed to leave after a while.
Yeah, the heat gets to you.
Yeah, just a tad. Yeah. How is life out there? I know at one point I had heard that you were working with Mr. Charles Wright. Is that still the case?
No, I was working there at the club for a while, but then eventually, stripper drama gets on your nerves, and you got to move away from it. So decided to just take a sabbatical from that. And now, besides my training, I just hang out and have fun. And I live so far away from the Strip, I don't even know I live in Las Vegas.
Awesome. I know that when I lived out there, after a while, we all avoided the Strip like the plague.
Dude, look. The only time I go to the Strip is when friends come in town, and the last time I had friends come in town, they were at my house. I had an Uber to take them down to the Strip. When they were ready, I sent an Uber to go get them and bring them back to me. I didn't go with them. I was like,
Perfect.
Go handle your own business.
Now, when I was out there, there was like literally no wrestling scene. Occasionally, Rick Bassman would bring some shows there, but there was really no dedicated promotion. How is I know obviously you have the school there. How is the scene out there right now?
It's picked up a lot because of the birth of a company called FSW, Future Stars of Wrestling. They run shows every month and then huge shows quarterly. And then different people come in and film now in Vegas because it's a great location to be from. So the wrestling scene is picking up. It's not like the East Coast by any stretch of the imagination, but slowly but surely. And here's the thing about wrestling in Vegas is where, let's say on the East Coast, you might have one thing going on in a town and a wrestling show. In Vegas, you got 400 things going on. And oh, by the way, guys, choose us over them. So it's kind of hard to get that local fan out to support you because there's so many options to do with your money. So, but it's growing slowly but surely.
When you first arrived here today at Heroes and Legends 9 here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, I saw you go and say hello to Mr. Jim Cornette. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts or good stories that you could share briefly with our listeners and viewers here about James E. Cornette?
I will tell you, I love Jim Cornette from the bottom of my heart. Without him, I wouldn't be in this business. He gave me my first start in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He took a shot on me when I was young and green and no one knew who I was. And he gave me an opportunity to be part of his company. He partnered me up with the Gangsters, and 20-something years later, I'm standing here talking to you. So, yeah, I walked in and hugged him like I hadn't seen him in forever because I love him.
That's awesome. Just not a question, just a comment. When I would watch the shows in an era that was filled with just top-tier talent, superstar after superstar. You stood out, man, because you were a bigger guy who was really fluid in movement, super athletic, always fun to watch, and always a good interview as well. Honestly, I'm not just saying this because we're interviewing right now, but I've always felt like you never really got your just due that in a lot of ways people kind of look past you. How fans remember you now, how would you like fans to remember you? How would you like to be remembered?
Just a guy who went out there and worked hard, and when I was given 2 minutes, I wanted to make that the best 2 minutes on the show. I wanted people to remember who I was, so I tried to stand out. And if I didn't get what I was supposed to get or what they were going to get, it doesn't matter as long as people remember me and just know that my 11-year-old self inside of me was having a time of my life out there. That's how I want to be remembered.
Robyn, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I got a closing thought. Did you ever think about ever going to WCW?
There was a time when it was talked about really, but really no. I mean, I was always loyal to Vince and his brand because, Vince gave me that national spotlight for the first time, and I was always loyal to it. And that's always home to me. No matter where I go or what I do, I'll always consider the WWE home. And so I could have never gone anywhere else.
So you're a trainer of the Snake Pit as well. So who are the most memorable trainees you've had so far that moved on into the indie world?
Nobody yet, but there's a team down in Louisville right now called King's Ransom. Keep your eye on them. Those kids are they're gonna be something special.
Yeah, they are. They're gonna be on fire.
They're two big athletic kids who can move around, and God, they took to training like fish to water. So it was fun being in the ring with them, fun training them, and it's now gonna be fun watching how high they climb.
Do you ever think you'll ever go in the ring one more time?
No. I'd rather not. I mean, I get out there and play every now and then, but my time in that national spotlight's gone, and I'm cool with that. Now it's my time to live vicariously through all those who I help train and watch them grow.
Yeah, another question we're talking about too is you're a former WWF European Champion and Intercontinental Champion, and there's times when you've met fans where you brought both belts, and it seemed like everybody liked the European belt over the Intercontinental.
Absolutely, I'll bring both belts out, and the Intercontinental belt will sit there and grow dust, but the European belt, people want to pick her up and throw her around and hold her, and because you don't get to see that title anymore, and it's you can't buy a replica of it, you don't see it anywhere, and it's not on TV anymore, so it's kind of like a unicorn. So I'm glad she's mine. I'm glad I have her.
All right. Thank you so much for taking your time coming on.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
This is Robyn Nelson from Wrestle Popcast. Good afternoon.